If you've ever heard someone reminiscing about the good old days of air travel, this video is for you. Today, we're taking a nostalgic look back at the awesome features that made flying during the golden age from the 1950s to 1970s such an incredible experience. From gourmet meals to spacious seating and dressing up for flights, those were the glory days of air travel. Let's jump in. Space and comfort. Even flying economy class back in the golden age of air travel, seat pitch and width was significantly more generous than today's cramped cabins. Typical seat pitches of 34, 36 inches allowed you to actually cross and stretch out your legs. Compared to many airlines today with pitches of 30 inches or less, it was the difference between tight discomfort and relaxing space. The cabins themselves also had higher ceilings and wider aisles, so the whole experience felt much more open and comfortable. You didn't have that closed-in, sardine-packed fuselage feeling that's common now. The seats themselves typically had thicker padding and sculpted headrests for added support during flights. Perhaps most importantly, the cabin was far quieter thanks to more insulation and hushed engines. You could actually have a conversation at a normal voice level. Modern jets have become substantially noisier over the decades. Combine the spaciousness, plush seating, high ceilings, and quieter ambience, and air travel truly lived up to its luxury experience back then. Getting stuck in a middle seat for hours was still no picnic, but overall, the golden age prioritized passenger space and comfort in ways airlines have largely abandoned today. The food service. In today's air travel world of overpriced snack boxes and mediocre meals, it's hard to imagine the gourmet dining experiences that were once common in the skies. Even in economy class, full multi-course meals with soup, salad, a delicious entree and dessert were served on real china and glassware with metal cutlery. The meals were prepared by accomplished airline chefs and featured regional cuisines and seasonal ingredients. For example, you might have enjoyed coq au vin or boeuf bourguignon on an Air France flight, while Lufthansa featured classic German dishes like Sauerbraten or Jagerschnitzel. Cheese courses, wine service, and after-dinner liqueurs were also par for the course. In premium first-class cabins, the meals were even more extravagant with chef-attended dining rivieras, caviar, vintage champagnes, and meticulously plated haute cuisine. KLM's revenue service flights from Amsterdam featured a classic Dutch rijsttafel with over a dozen different dishes. The level of service was also exceptional, with numerous flight attendants who took pride in the dining experience and treating passengers like valued guests. It was not uncommon for flight attendants to carefully debone fish, garnish plates, and provide other finishing touches tableside. The whole in-flight culinary experience rivaled that of top restaurants in first class. It's no wonder so many aviation enthusiasts nostalgically reminisce about the golden era of in-flight dining. Free baggage allowances. These days, airlines are notorious for their excessive fees on checked baggage, with many charges over $30 for the first bag alone. But back in the golden age, checking your luggage was completely free as part of your ticket price. Not only were there no baggage fees, but the weight and size allowances were also far more generous. It was common for airlines to allow at least 2 free checked bags at 70 pounds each for economy passengers. For first class, you could often check 3 or more bags at no extra cost. The baggage policies were designed for a time when air travel was less frequent and more of a grand vacation or relocation experience. With such generous allowances, passengers didn't have to meticulously pack light or wear the same outfits over and over again on longer journeys. You could bring along full-sized baggage trunks, golf clubs, skis, and other sports equipment without being nickel and dimed for overweight or oversized items. The lack of fees encouraged a far more relaxed, pack-it-all mentality compared to today's carry-on crunch. Airport baggage handling was also a white glove service affair. Skycaps would politely take your bags at the terminal entrance and ensure they were loaded properly. On arrival, porters would swiftly gather your luggage for prompt pickup after deplaning. It was a drastically different experience from today's hectic, self-service feel. In today's era of casual dress and athleisure wear on flights, it's hard to imagine a time when there were strict dress codes for air travelers. But during the Golden Age, dressing up was very much part of the travel experience and social etiquette of flying. For men, the standard attire was a suit or nice slacks, dress shirt, tie, and hard-soled shoes like Oxfords. Jackets were required, even in warm weather. Women were expected to wear dresses, high heels, stockings, white gloves, and accessorize with jewelry, scarves, and hats or fascinations. Casual clothing like shorts, t-shirts, sandals, or sneakers were simply not permitted. The enforced dress policies created a sophisticated, refined atmosphere from the moment you arrived at the terminal. People made an effort to look their best and took pride in their appearance when flying. It was a sign of respect for themselves, their fellow passengers, and the crew. Flight attendants held passengers to these sartorial standards as well. They could deny boarding to someone deemed too casually or inappropriately dressed. At the extreme end, pilots famously had the right to refuse passage or deplaned improperly dressed travelers. While seemingly restrictive by today's standards, the dress codes elevated the experience and fed into the glamour of Golden Age air travel. Getting dressed up, even for a short domestic hop, made each journey feel like a special event and grand adventure. It added to the sophistication and excitement of taking to the skies. Smoking sections. It's hard to imagine now, but smoking was actually permitted on airplanes during the golden age of flying from the 1950s through the 1970s. However, it wasn't a free-for-all of secondhand smoke thanks to designated smoking areas. On most aircraft, there was a specific smoking section located at the rear of the economy cabin. This allowed smokers to light up after takeoff while containing most of the smoke and odors toward the back of the plane. The ventilation systems were designed to pull the smoke toward the rear as well. In first and business class, smoking was often restricted to specific lounges or areas sectioned off from the main cabin. Some airlines even had iconic smokers' lounges like the Pan Am Boeing 747 Quiet Cone, which featured leather chairs and smoked glass enclosures. To help minimize secondhand exposure, the smoking areas had ashtrays built into the armrests and no smoking buffer rows between the sections. Flight attendants would offer matches or lighters to light up as another perk of the service. While certainly not healthy by today's standards, these designated smoking areas allowed both smokers and non-smokers to have some accommodation during the long journey. It was a way to make space for the social norms and habits of the era. Well, there you have it, folks. A few of the nostalgic features that made the golden age of flying from the 1950s to 1970s such an incredible experience. From the spacious cabins and gourmet dining, to the elegant lounges and dress codes, air travel was truly a sophisticated affair back then. While some of those amenities like piano bars or smoking sections probably wouldn't fly today, you can't help but be wistful for an era when crammed basic economy wasn't the norm. Flying represented glamour, luxury, and adventure in ways that are slipping away. What was your favorite Golden Age flight feature we covered? Any other great memories from the good old days of air travel? Drop a comment and let me know. As always, thank you for watching.